Hey Panthers! Now that you've listened to the chapters 1 through 5 of the Scorch Trials, and you've completed your guided reading notes while listening to the ELA Skill of the Week video, you can begin your Google Classroom assignment. So here I am on our Google Classroom homepage. I'm going over to classwork and all the way down to ELA, looking for the assignment titled Chapters 1 through 5 Scorch Trials Character. Opening up this assignment, and it says, complete the review slide and the character cards. Use this week's Skill of the Week video if you need help. So the Skill of the Week video will always directly coincide with the Google Classroom assignment. If you are ever stuck, to re-listen to that video would be your first step. So looking at our Google Classroom assignment, the first page is just your title page. I'm just going to go through the instructions very quickly. The second slide is character and characterization. You are going to be dragging and dropping the symbols over here to their corresponding word, the word that matches them. So for the head right here, the head represented a character's thoughts. I will be dragging and dropping all of these to the word that matches them. And then you also need to answer these two questions very quickly down at the bottom. What is a static character and what is a dynamic character? All you need to do is double click on your text box and complete. Reminder to be writing in complete sentences. A static character is a character that, and you're going to complete it. I'm not going to do your work for you. So now let's move on to our character cards. This is going to be the majority of your assignment. I'm going to show you an example character card with Chuck, and you are expected to complete them for Thomas, Minho, Eris, and Newt. So you are going to take any knowledge that you remember about these characters from our first book, The Maze Runner, and also use any new knowledge that you've accumulated through the first 5 chapters of the Scorch Trials. So let's look at our boy, Chuck. In our first box up here, the longer gray rectangle, that's going to be where you're answering the question, is this character, so is Chuck a static character or is Chuck a dynamic character? So I know from the video earlier this week or yesterday that Chuck is a dynamic character. So I'm going to drag and drop that word dynamic over to this gray box. Not only do I have to tell whether or not which type of character they are, but you have to also explain why or how you know what type of character they are. So you just got to double click on this text box. So how do I know that Chuck is a dynamic character? In the beginning of the book, he was shy and immature. Then he courageously sacrificed himself to save Thomas. So he made a big change in our book of The Maze Runner. So he was a dynamic character because he made that change. Then for the next 3 boxes, you're going to choose 3 out of the 6 characterization types and complete them for this character. So I know that this head means this thoughts. So I'm going to put the head right here, and then I can type some things that I know about Chuck. What are some things that Chuck was thinking? Chuck thought that wicked is evil and shouldn't be locking kids up. So then we can see what are some of Chuck's hopes and dreams. That was the cloud. Chuck wanted to escape the maze and see his mother. And the last one I'm going to choose are let's go with his actions, because I think that that was an important thing that Chuck did. He was the comedic relief around the glade. Oops. And then he also, I think that the biggest thing that we always have to make sure that we mention is that he sacrificed himself to save Tommy. So if I wanted to do conflict or feelings or personality traits, I could absolutely do those. I just chose these three. You can choose different three for each of your people. They do not all have to be the same, but they do need to be examples from the book. So you need to go through and do Thomas. You need to do Newt and Minho. And this is our new character that we just got introduced to in the Scorch Trials, Eris. So this one might be a little bit more difficult. You might really need to look in deep in these chapters, but I believe that you can finish this up. Now, the extension of this character and characterization assignment is that I'm also asking for you to complete the character cards for 2 characters in your independent reading book. So whatever book you have at home that you are reading by yourself, I need you to make 2 character cards about them. It can be any 2 characters. It can be main characters. It can be minor characters. But you've got to determine, are they a static character or are they dynamic? And then you got to come up with 3 examples of the characterization traits and putting them in here. So you can make sure that you're writing their name on the side, and you can insert a picture from Google if you'd like. If you can't find a picture or you don't have access to Google, that's fine. You don't need to put a picture, but you do need to tell me if it's static or dynamic and continue these character traits. So you'll finish those 2. When you finish the entire assignment, you're going back over here. I'm pressing View Assignment and making sure that I mark as done. So that will be how you can complete the character Google Classroom assignment for Scorch Trials chapters 1 through 5.